Hello, Laserdisc aficionados. For those of us rapidly going down that rabbit hole, we're very familiar with the Video Standard for calibrating our picture and sound, as well as Video Essentials. Of course, Video Essentials is the most popular. It's quite simple and to the point.
My God, it's full of stars.
Video Standard is a little bit more complicated. It's even got a manual that comes with it. But it gets the same job done, right? But what the heck is this thing? The Geneva LD Lens Cleaner. It goes a little bit more beyond that. It actually has some test patterns and color bars on the back of it, which we're going to use later on. But what's really cool about this little setup here is that on the back of the disc are these two little brushes. And as the disc spins in chapter 3, the idea is it's supposed to clean off the dust off of the lens of your Laserdisc player.
Doing a quick search online, not only was I able to find the Geneva company, which apparently is Blues Bros Entertainment, but they still sell Laserdisc products, Laserdisc sleeves to be more specific. And going on to eBay, I was also able to find a lot of their old products for compact disc, VHS, even cassettes, but nothing for Laserdisc cleaning. So I want to take just a minute here to introduce you to my secondary setup up here in the lab. I'm rocking a Pioneer VSX07TX receiver down there on the left. Of course, that is a built-in RF demodulator, which is kicking, and this was introduced in 1997, I think. The Laserdisc player of choice is the CLD D704, introduced in 1995, and of course that can output the modulated track that the receiver then takes. And yes, I am rocking AC3 5.1 surround up here in this room. I don't know why, but what the heck, right? And for those of you curious, yes, that's a Sony Betamax SL10 introduced in 1984, just underneath the player. And finally, we have a Sharp 42-inch 1080p LCD television introduced somewhere in 2015 to 2018. I'm not sure of the date in there. So I tell you that, simple. If you're one of the lucky few that can connect their Laserdisc player via composite to the television and be happy with the picture quality, and be happy with the audio either with the speakers on the television or through a soundbar, you're good to go. Thanks for stopping by. But there's some of us out there that want to squeeze just a little bit more out of that setup. So let's have some fun. Let's take a quick jaunt through the Laserdisc here. Obviously, this is the opening credits, Laserdisc Cleaner. Chapter 2, there's nothing on. Chapter 3, which is coming up, starts the cleaning process. So I'm going to skip ahead just a few seconds here to the end because this is kind of funny. Cleaning was over. That brings us right into our test pattern. You can hear the tone there. Not very good. It's kind of blurry there. Color bar test card. And then there's a series of red. And then green. And then blue. And then finally there's a test of all colors. Now, I don't know about you guys, but those colors were really washed out. So let's do a side-by-side comparison with my home theater, which is rocking a D604. I've already calibrated the color. It's spot on. Well, as spot on as it can get without a professional doing it, right? So let's have a little bit of fun. So, as you can see, here's the side-by-side. The picture on the right is the calibrated picture with this D604, and the one on the left is the 704 upstairs on the uncalibrated picture. You can see a drastic difference. So my original intent has been completely derailed. If you'll notice from these two images, they have the same timestamp. The image on the left, of course, is from the D704 on an uncalibrated 1080p television. That's my secondary setup. The image on the right is from my home theater, which is calibrated, and the player is a D604, which I feed through a Panasonic DVD-R to convert the composite to component. I think you'll agree that there is actually more detail from the image on the left. It's just a little bit more, but you can see the girl's teeth, the whiteness of her teeth, the creases in her knees you can see a little bit better. Her feet don't look like flippers like they do on the right. And that's crazy because that's the D704's picture is going straight composite to that uncalibrated television. So now I'm like, I think I need to do a little bit more testing. But that little sequence isn't even what caught my attention. This one did. And I had to go back and do it a couple times because I thought I got the images swapped. But you can clearly see that on the uncalibrated picture from the D704 on the Sharp TV, it's a better picture. Yeah, the color's washed out, but that can be fixed. But there's a little bit more detail on the watermelon, the fruit. You can see the detail. And I'm like, oh, did I get that mixed up? And I couldn't figure out what I'd done. So, oh boy, this was interesting. On the left is the D704, and on the right is the D604. Both images were taken from the television in my home theater. Right off the bat, you can see that the D704's color is a little bit off, and that's okay, it can be fixed. The television was actually calibrated with the D604. The 604 has a better blue, in my opinion. But what has been lost is that infinitesimally small amount of detail that I noticed between the two different televisions. These images look the same to me now, whereas before it was slightly different. So that's disheartening, because what that seems to lead to is that my Vizio, my 16-inch Vizio, is crap. That's what it's pointing to right now. So let's take another test and see what we come up with. Nope, other than the color, I'm just not seeing that detail. So this has been one heck of a journey, right? I mean, what started out as a simple review of a rather unique laser disc that had a couple of brushes on it for cleaning the lens and some color bars and charts on the back for calibrating your picture, led to the discovery that I've got a very drastic difference between my home theater and my secondary setup. Now, there could be the argument that the 42-inch Sharp, being a smaller display, is just a little bit sharper than the 16-inch Vizio, I suppose. But neither of those images were zoomed, right? It's 4:3, so we're not talking about letterbox. We didn't need to zoom in to fill the screen. It's just a standard picture. So I don't think so. I don't really think so. I think that what I found out is that Sharp just has can handle the composite signal better than the Vizio can. The Vizio actually shares the same ports, the same board. So if you can plug your red, green, and blue for component into it, or just plug the composite into one of those, and it'll play, right? So maybe sharing that circuit or sharing the board, I don't know the right terminology, kind of decreases the quality. Whereas the Sharp upstairs doesn't. It has component in the back, and then it has a composite jack as well. So, okay, maybe that explains it. I don't know. What I find disheartening, though, is that my home theater, I've now discovered, has a rotten picture. And that sucks, and that's not going to make my wife happy, because now I want a new TV, right? So I'll probably go. 4K is probably the way to go. That may be the reason to get 4K. I know a lot of Laserdisc enthusiasts have had luck using the 4K TVs to upscale that picture coming from the Laserdisc player, and I've been very happy with it. So, yeah, we'll see where that goes. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. It definitely did a 90-degree turn and went in a different direction, but I think it's a little bit more interesting than just going, hey, look, I'm going to color calibrate using this Laserdisc. Honestly, the disc is useless anyway, without a manual or instructions to tell you how to do all those things. So what are you going to do with it? Literally the instructions come up, adjust your color and your tint. Okay, well, I can do that without the disc, right? The other two are much better. Video Essentials and Video Standard, much better for what they're doing. And honestly, a disc that cleans the lens is almost useless, because unless you're on some type of maintenance schedule where you're going to do that every few months on your own, if the disc stops reading a disc if the player stops reading disc because there's a lot of dust on the lens, it's not going to load that disc anyway. So you're still going to have to take the top off and get some alcohol and a Q-tip to clean the lens. So anyway, yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. It's been a while since I put a Laserdisc one out. The arrival of my son and a new job and all that stuff has my schedule packed, and obviously I do this for fun. I don't monetize the channel, so I get these out when I can for everyone to enjoy. So yeah, hope you enjoyed it, and look forward to doing another one. Later. You're not nice.